Hello. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to do a 5-minute makeup, and I'm going to simplify it quite a bit today. Hi Chrissy, hey Tammy. So I'm going to really simplify it. I'm going to cut my foundation shades down to just 2 highlight shades, 1 contour, and 1 really fun lip and cheek color. This one's called Venice. Hi, and I think it's just really fun because it's bright and corally, and it's pretty for spring and into summer. So I want to kind of share a couple fun tips this time around on how you can get away with just doing 2 highlight shades and 1 contour shade. And if you don't know who I am, hi, my name's Karen. 50 is the new 50 blog, and this is called 3D Foundation. It's from a company called Seint that I'm an artist with, and I'm going to show you how to use this makeup. Try to get it done. I'll be talking, so it may not be exactly 5 minutes because I'll be talking, but let me just get started and show you how this works. And if you have questions as we go along, ask me. Hi. All right, let's get going. So what's in this palette? Well, it's magnetic. Isn't that kind of cool? So all of these tins, this is what the makeup comes in. It's magnetic, and they just pop right in. So whenever you run out of one, you just replace it. What I have here is a contour shade, and it's cream. And then I have 2 foundation shades. We happen to call them highlights just because we have to confuse you. And then I have this really fun cream lip and cheek color that I'm going to use as a lip and a cheek color as well. So glad to see everybody. This is going to be so much fun. Let's get this makeup on. So the first thing I want to talk about is using a highlight shade that could be my all over shade, but it also can do a little bit of concealing. And how I'm going to get away with using just 1 shade as my main shade, but also to kind of color correct and conceal. I'm going to show you a little trick. So I like to use this brush here. It's called the detail brush. You need a brush that just has a smaller end because we're going to be getting into some smaller areas. And the first thing I'm going to do is tap into this cream highlight. For those of you who do use Seint or want to know, this one's called Mango. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just tap a little bit on my eyelids, because a lot of us have melasma or kind of sun damage or freckling up on our eyelids. I'm going to tap one more time, and I'm going to put some right underneath my eyes where I have kind of this, it's really kind of purpley brown today. I did not get much sleep last night, and I'm just lightly tapping and kind of blending it out. I'm not reloading anything on my brush. The key to this makeup that's going to make you love it is less is more, or less is best, however you want to think about that. It is so pigmented, and you just need the smallest amount to color correct and to cover what you want, because you don't want it to feel sticky or heavy. You want it to feel just like your skin. All right, let's deal with that guy. Someday I may get this removed. It's there. It's a sunspot, it's an age spot, whatever. So I'm going to tap into that again. And I'm not swiping, I'm just kind of tapping. Can you see how much I have on there? All right. And I'm going to apply it right on that spot. Tap, tap, because it's going to take a little extra. Okay. So I'm putting that on my sunspot. I'm not going to worry about that mole. I'm not going to worry about these smaller ones over here. They'll cover nicely. Okay, so this is the one I want to worry about the most, and then my under eye. So what I'm going to do first, before I switch and use this as my all over shade, is I'm going to take my Perfector sponge or beauty blender, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to spray it with setting spray. Okay? And then I'm going to take and I'm going to tap over that spot, under my eyes, and on my eyelids. The areas that I needed a little extra coverage, okay? So just let that dry for a second. Or not even completely dry. That's just a little extra coverage, because I'm going to use Mango now as my all over shade. But I'm going to pick it up with a nice big fluffy brush. This is called the Blush and Bronzer brush. A lot of us have a brush like this at home, like a blush brush. It's not really packed in, but it's not really fluffy. It's just kind of a middle of the road. It's a great brush for applying cream makeup. And it's great for your blush, but I like to apply it my main shade. So I'm going to tap right back in to that shade, that Mango. And I'm going to now tap and apply just a little bit. Now you can see I'm just tapping and I'm not reapplying the makeup. I'm kind of blending as I go. And I like to do that because I feel like I don't over apply too much makeup, right? So if I just dot it on or I swipe it on, I may just get makeup where I really don't need it, because I'm just going to tap into the makeup, tap on my face, and I'm doing a little bit of blending by tapping this brush around. It's almost like a stippling motion. And that's a great question. Who is that? Is that Diane? Wait, no, Carol, I can't. I have 4 pairs of glasses here. Is your sponge dry before you put the setting spray in it? No. So if you watch my reel today or up in my stories, up in my stories today, I have a video showing you how to prepare your beauty blenders or your perfector sponge when you use cream makeup. You want to get it wet. You get it wet, you wring out all the water, let it sit for a little bit so it's cool. So you want to use it that way, wet. And I spray even my setting spray on it while it's damp. And I shouldn't have said wet, really damp, okay? So let's keep applying the main foundation in a stippling. Let's get some over the nose. So what I'm doing here is, instead of having 3 foundation shades, I'm cutting it down to my 1 foundation highlight shade and 1 other shade that's going to be kind of like a brightener or a pop shade, a little bit lighter shade to give some light to the center of my face. But I'm using my shade Mango as my all over shade, but I did a little extra concealing or color correcting underneath. Now the key to doing this is over here where I had already kind of color corrected, it needs a little extra, okay? So I'm going to tap in, but I'm not doing the swiping because I'm going to swipe that makeup right off that I just tried to color correct, and I want a little extra coverage right in this area where I have all this sun damage, okay? So just tapping over it to kind of help conceal that a bit more. Okay, so I can kind of keep going, just deciding how much I need. Let me take a second and look in the mirror and make sure I'm applying enough. Yeah, Davida, Mango is fabulous. Yeah, and you know, I wouldn't say I'm super dark, but I definitely have a lot of discoloration and melanin in my skin. I mean, I'm 55. That's why I said over 55-minute makeup, because I'm 55 and I might as well talk to you like I'm 50. I'm not 30, I'm not 20, I'm not 40, I'm 55. This is what 55-year-old skin on me looks like. It's a lot of sun damage. Oh, thank you, my Buddha. A lot of sun damage, a lot of melasma. So this shade is really great. And I think going a little bit darker than what you think is key. So yeah. Missed the beginning. Okay. Missed the beginning. What color did you color correct with? So what I'm doing today, is that Jen? Jen, what I'm doing today is I'm using my color corrector shade Mango, but I'm also using it as my all over shade. And the way that we got away with using it as a color corrector is I used it first underneath my eyes and on my sunspots, treated it with a little bit of setting spray on my sponge, and now I'm going to use it as my main shade. But no swiping when you do this, because we've got color underneath and we're going to swipe it off. So what about contour then? You're probably saying, well, aren't you supposed to put the contour on first? You can do this however you want. I need a little extra coverage in some of these areas, so I'm going to put my contour on after I kind of color corrected in these areas and put my main foundation shade on. So the key is, oh, the colors are very forgiving. You are so right. Yep. So the key now is I'm going to pick up my contour shade, and they're a little bit firmer than the cream. So you can be a little bit more aggressive with the loading of the brush in the contours. You're going to notice that they have a much firmer consistency, almost a little bit drier, a little bit kind of, I would say maybe even chalkier, but that's for a reason, because contour, we're going to put it up here on our forehead, and I'm pouncing and kind of tapping and pouncing it on. We don't want to really blend out the contour. We want the contour to kind of stay. We're going to soften it by pouncing And then where the two kind of like where this line is, I'm really going to aggressively pounce over that. So I want contour to kind of lower my forehead because I've got such a tall forehead. And if you do as well, you can bring that down however far you want. If you have a wider face, you can bring it down your temples. If you have a narrow face or kind of your face is a little bit more indented here, then don't bring it down. But you can be my contour is called Astoria. When I color match you, you know, you're going to get a contour shade that works best with your coloring, your hair color, your skin tone. Okay, eye color, that kind of thing. So contour up on your forehead. And again, I'm just tapping, right? I'm not swiping. Oh, thanks, Becca. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to apply it on my cheeks because I want to give a little lift and a little definition to my natural bone structure. Now, little tip on how to load your contour brush. Up on the forehead, I loaded it flat, right? So I let the color fill completely along the bottom and tapped flat. With your cheekbones with this brush, this brush is called the detail brush. I've used it to apply smaller areas and then the contour. We kind of want a side roll. We want to load the brush with the majority of the color right along this edge. So what I do is I'm coming in at an angle. Can you see that? And I'm just tapping and kind of rolling that so that now the majority of the new color is just not in the center, but right along this edge. So that when I come over here and feel for my cheekbone, and I like to give my cheekbones a little bit of a swoop, a little bit of a lift. You can also come just straight down along your cheekbone, but I'm going to start on the outside, right there, press. And I can feel my cheekbone underneath there, and I'm just pressing it on, right like that. I don't want to swipe again because I'm going to mess up a little bit of the concealing that I've done on that sunspot. So just a little bit there. Seeing if there's any other questions. I'm going to reload, coming in at an angle and kind of tapping, and then just cross over. It's always hard to go on your opposite side when you're a lefty or a righty. I'm going to come and I'm pressing it just right up under. I'm tapping and pressing right up underneath my cheekbone. Press, 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 tap, tap, tap. Kind of from my ear. And then I'm stopping. I'm trying to stop about the outside of my eye so that from the front, you can kind of see the contour stops right about here, but I'm not bringing it too far in. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so you can go as, if you like a lot of contour, you can build it. It's cream, so it's buildable. You can add more if you want to, right? If we get too much, we're gonna use our perfector sponge to lift it off if we get too much on. So it's very forgiving. Don't be hard on yourself when you first start using cream makeup because it's so forgiving. We can add more, we can blend off, and it's just makeup, right? All right. So the next thing I want to do is we're going to come in and we're going to add it underneath and emphasize my jaw, right? So, you know, I do have a jawline. It's right here, jaw bones. I wish it looked like this, but it doesn't. So I'm going to use a little bit of contour to define my jaw from this, okay? So I'm going to load that brush again. Now this time I'm going to go back into loading it full face, right? Just tap it right in, loading the contour on the end of the brush. And then we're going to feel out here for the side of your cheek, underneath your ear, just swipe down. And then I just kind of brush it underneath my jawline, stopping about right here, kind of where it indents. I'm gonna put a little extra on so you can see. I don't know if you can see it here with this lighting. So I'm coming down. Once it's underneath your jaw, then I want you to pull it back and down a bit. All right, so let me reload that brush and put some under here. I'm not going along the side of my face. I'm actually going underneath and pulling it back and down, just to kind of give kind of help that shadow underneath my jaw. that's already there. I do have a I do have a jawline. We just are trying to add a little shadow with makeup to kind of define that from our neck. I don't put the contour right underneath my chin, like right underneath it, but I do want to kind of add a shadow to help hide this a bit. So I'll pounce in and I'll just come back about 2 fingers and add a little here, just to kind of help add a shadow underneath my jaw and emphasize my jawline and de-emphasize whatever else is under there, right? Okay, so we contoured cheekbones underneath our jaw, a little bit back here, farther back underneath your chin to kind of define that. And we did some color correcting here. I'm gonna go ahead now and switch over, and I'm gonna grab my Perfector sponge. And again, up in my stories today, I've got a video on how to prepare your Perfector sponge before you start using it, because it needs to be damp. It needs to be damp, especially with cream makeup. So it's like a beauty blender. We call it a Perfector sponge because it's really essential that you have one of these if you're gonna be using this type of makeup. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna press in this makeup that I've already put on. So I'm just kind of tapping and pressing, turn it over, because I want enough makeup to give my face a little bit of a glow and some coverage, but I don't really want it to look like I have a ton of makeup on. So I don't mind if, I think I forgot to put makeup on my chin. Let me tap in here. Did you girls see me put any of my main shade down here on my chin? Well, here's the deal. I definitely need it because that's where I have all my broken capillaries. Knowing me, I probably got distracted. Okay. I can kind of press and tap over my contour, being careful in that area there. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add a little bit of brightness to the center of my face. And really, when I say brightness, I'm not going more than maybe 2 or 3 shades lighter. This is Mango, and then this is Candlelit. And you know, there's all these brighter shades, but if I start applying too bright of a shade, of a highlight shade or any type of makeup, everything is amplified. Because what does a light color do? Light reflects light and pulls forward. And I have pores. I have, what do you call those cute things? Crow's feet, smiley lines, more pores, a lot of pores in this area. And of course your under eye, you know, I don't want to really mess with that. So I usually use a brightener or a pop shade that's only a few shades lighter than what I have as my main foundation. So you can see it's pretty subtle. I just popped a little bit on the inside of my eye. So I'm just tapping. I want you to be able to see. But I'm okay with that. I'll even put a little bit up on my eyelid, brush a little bit down the side of my nose. I'm tapping again. Let me pull this up here so you can see. Tap, tap. I'm gonna put some up above my brow there. Now you can kind of see. Can you see the brightness? But it's really subtle. I'm not gonna go and then I'll pull it in to this center. You can take your finger and I'll just put a little bit down my nose, just to kind of down the bridge of my nose. And you're using the brush now really with no extra makeup on it. And just tapping and stippling is really kind of the key to this makeup for blending and softening, and then also using your Perfector sponge. So I can come in and pounce that Perfector sponge over just to press that makeup in a little bit more. If I wanted some more brightness to my face, I definitely could keep adding some more, but I really don't like the look of having my pores pop out or my fine lines pop out. I really don't like that. So You can also take your big brush again and just go over everything one more time, just kind of pouncing. Because that's really all you're doing is just, now that the makeup's warmed up a little bit more, you're just giving it that little bit more of an extra blending, okay? Easy, right? I mean, I didn't use contour and a couple highlight shades. This is called Venice. It's a really fun color. It's almost like, it's a corally, it's very coral. So what is coral? Coral is kind of a combination of like reddish orange, a little bit of pink. I'm gonna put it on my cheeks. This one is a glossy, so I'm gonna put it up above my contour. Since it's a glossy, I'm gonna tap it on with my finger first, just to get a little bit more on. Let me make sure it's even. I like a lot of color on my cheeks. And then I'm gonna use my blush and bronzer brush to tap over, again, everything. No, I'm not doing the swiping because I don't have very much makeup on. If I go swiping, I'm gonna swipe it all off. Pouncing and pushing it in like a stippling. Stipple, 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 pounce, pounce, pounce. And this brush is really soft, so it's not like I'm doing any damage to my face. But look at how, you know, looks like it was so intense, but it really blends out soft. And it's also buildable. So if I needed a little bit more, like I can tell, you can also apply it with the brush by tapping your same brush. I didn't clean this. I don't need to clean it in between because it's all going on my face. The nice thing about these brushes is that they're made to work with the cream makeup. So they're made to pick up the cream makeup and apply it and from the brush to your face. So it's kind of hard unless you're really swiping into the makeup, like taking a brush and actually swiping into it and really getting a ton of makeup loaded on the ends of the brush to apply too much. Okay, so Perfector sponge, just give it a little tap. Especially if I think I got it up too high somewhere, I can just press it in. All right, simple, simple. I think it's a really fun color on your lips. Why I like this color, I think, is because even though it's a glossy, it really has a bit of pigment to it, you know, so it's not too sheer, but it's sheer enough. And I think it's a fun color for spring. Okay, I cheated. I already put some mascara on and I kind of added a little color to my brows. But let's just do a quick eye. You know what? Let's set our makeup first one more time. So you can, again, shake up your setting spray, spritz it on your Perfector sponge. And then I'm not pouncing hard. I'm just lightly tapping. And you see it where it looks wet. Setting spray over my face. Down your neck. Okay. And then we'll let that dry. And that should help set the makeup. But the deal is, you know, when you really don't use too much of this makeup, you shouldn't have a lot of cakiness. You shouldn't have a lot of transfer. You know, I really didn't use that much at all. So let's just do a quick eyeshadow. I'm going to grab this eyeshadow color. I think it's called Havana. Tap it off. I just thought this was pretty. Just do a quick dusting on your eyelid. I'm going to open my eye now so I can see where I can get it up on my brow. This is a pretty color. It's really it's very orange. I thought it was really pretty with the Venice lip and cheek. I thought, how fun would that be? So up. And then if you wanted to, you could just take your brush and just do that color by itself. Just kind of lightly swirl and blend it up. That's not bad. You could take a fun shimmer shade like this. This is called Crush. Take it with your finger and just tap it right in the center. I'll blend it here in a second. This eyeshadow is the most pigmented, beautiful, velvety eyeshadow I have ever used. I mean, there's barely any fallout from this eyeshadow. So this is called Crush. It's one of the shimmers. And I'm just taking the brush and just kind of softly kind of just tapping and blending it a bit. A little bit of shimmer. Can even pull a bit into the inner eye. Easy. If I really want to have fun with it, I can even go with a darker shade. This is called, I think this is called pomegranate. Isn't that pretty? And I can take the other side of that eyeshadow brush and tap in to this end here. Tap it off. And then if I wanted to, I could just dot it, put it right there in the outer corner. Right there. Leave your eye open. Leave your eye open so you know where's that color going to end up when your eye's open. Because if you do everything with your eye closed and then you open your eye, you're going to be like, oh, where the heck did all that color go, right? So I'm just putting a little in the outer, and then I'm just kind of coming up onto the brow. I'm going to flip that brush over. Nothing's really, a little bit of leftover Havana, that lighter shade. And then just swirling, kind of pulling it up and over into the crease, but then also kind of up on that brow bone a bit. So a little definition. So you could just do the one eyeshadow, a little shimmer, or you could do all three together, you know, and just kind of have fun with that. Easy, easy. Hey, for you gals that stuck around with me for this, I'm going to go back really quick and answer any questions that you had for me. So if you have questions, hey, let's visit for a little bit more. We've got time here. So, all right. Love the color on you. I need to be braver and try it. Yes, try a darker shade than you think, and have fun with the eyeshadows and the lip and cheek colors, you know, and don't be afraid to put, you know, for me, truthfully, I like more blush. So I would probably go back and even add a bit more blush because I love color on my cheeks. All right. It is easy. It is easy. And I'm not making it look easy. It really is easy. And the thing is it's just makeup. And how it gets easy is you just do it. You put it on your face and you do it. Contour, the colors, okay, great. Let me see if there's any other questions. Tammy, I love corals. Corals would look, oh my gosh, corals, gorgeous on you, right? Beautiful, thank you. Those are fun colors. Yeah, they're really fun colors. I like corals. They're really pretty. All right, you're cooking. Okay, I'm cooking. What did she say? Don't use too light for highlighter. Yeah, so Christine, for me, and for most of us, like if we go too light of a brightener shade, if you're starting to see texture, if you go too light, like let's say, see this color here? See how light that is? If I was to take that and put it right in the center of my forehead where I have all my pores and my number 11s, or if I was to put it like even right in here, you know, underneath my eye, I've got pores and my wrinkles, or even out here. You know, if I was to go and stick this like right here, you know, too bright, and then tried to blend that out, you know, it's gonna emphasize, it's gonna get into that and emphasize these. So I'm gonna really have to press that out. I'd rather use a shade that's closer to my skin tone, just a couple, like 2 or 3 shades lighter than my lightest skin tone, to add some brightness instead of going too light. And if you're younger, if you're in your 20s and your 30s, you can't, you don't have as much melasma in your skin and melanin in your skin. And so you can get away maybe with doing a much brighter highlight or pop shade. Well, I'm glad this is the best makeup for mature skin. I agree, I really do. Yeah, I hope we can get it overseas soon. That would be so great. All right, I know we can't ship overseas yet. I really wish we could. Hopefully someday soon. That would be so great. I'm just reading to see if there's any other questions that you had, because thank you for staying all the way to the end. So appreciate you. Thank you, gals. So really quick, if you are brand new and you didn't get to hear who I was, let me just introduce myself. My name's Karen and I'm 55. I'm a Seint artist, which means that I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. I do all of my color matches virtually. There's a color match link in my profile, bio, whatever they call it. You can also message me too. There's a little airplane down in the bottom, and you can just hit that and it sends me a message directly that's private. So if you had questions for me that you didn't want to ask here while we are live, you can just message me privately and I will be more than happy to answer them for you and help in any way that I can. So that was really fun. Thanks so much. And I hope that you're having a wonderful day. It does make you look, just really quick. Yes. Couple more questions. Let me answer them really quick. Yes, lip and cheek color makes you look more youthful. It adds color to your face. It does. So that's important. And bronzer, when do you use bronzer? Well, I could put bronzer on right now when I'm all done. I can take a little light fluffy brush. I can pick up a little bit of cream bronzer, swirl it in, and I can put some bronzer up here on my forehead. So, you know, again, where do you usually get sun or sunburnt? Which we don't want to do, but where do you get sun? Sun hits on the parts of our face that protrude out the most, right? So kind of along your temples and up over your cheeks. You see that little bit of that warmth? Even across, you know, you can dust a little across your nose. Just a little bit down here on your chin. You know, wherever the sun would normally warm you up and add a little color, that's where you can add bronzer. So that's really easy, really easy to do that. And look at how that really warmed up my forehead there quite a bit and gives you some color to your skin. All right, thanks so much again. Excellent. Thank you, gals, for joining me. And I hope that you reach out to me soon. Have a great day.